would be absurd. It's 110 in the shade, it would hurt. The hair's thick as
Nothing's cooperating today. Ain't that the way it goes? Okay. I can get the bike a little closer to the ground so I can lift that tire out of there, if I can get it off of there, because the brake caliper is still stuck on there with the silly bolts. We're going to get educated really quick here. Next, take a floor jack, put it right underneath the very bottom of the tire. So I got the floor jack under there. Ain't that nice? And it's just jacked up a little bit to relieve the pressure of the tire off of the axle. See how easy that is? It's going to pop right out of there. I'm still going to have a huge issue here with these bolts. I'm waiting for the charger to charge up on my drill, because I was going to drill them out, and then I start chiseling on them, and I just ran out of patience, so I went ahead this far, and I'm going to see if this piece here, you can see it's on a channel, will slide by, whereas I can take this whole thing off, this piece with the caliper, and then it will probably be easier to get these bolts out then at that time, but we're going to find out like 10 seconds here. So pulling it out. And now it is. And it came out. Oh, gosh, life is good. So I just gotta get the top. And there we go. Got the tire out. I got this mess to fix, but it's going to be much easier to do it out here. I got a vise over there. Hopefully I can get it to reach. If not, I'll bust loose this and re-bleed the brakes so I can completely let go of it. You can see I've been chiseling and not getting anywhere. This is where I need the heat, right there. So I better tie this up temporarily till I don't go yanking on those hoses. Where'd my piece of wire go? There it is. The fun thing about the threads on this these are steel bolts. This is aluminum, so they're not going to be cooperative. And as you can see, these are button head bolts. I just hate them with a passion. I don't know why. Other than aesthetic, they're kind of cool looking, but man, if they're stuck in Loctite, they're a real pain. As you can see on my other parts, I got square heads. These are all supposed to be button heads in through here, and I put square heads in there, or cap screws, just because I can't stand them. Behind your battery, there's a bunch of them in there that are just murder to get out. These here on the frame, those are pretty hard. These guys here are awful. You've got to basically stick your Torx in there, get your impact gun, and throw all of your weight on it, every bit of weight you got on it. The first time I took those off, I didn't know it, and it immediately stripped them. And so I ended up, at that time I had a welder. I'm not no welder by any means, and I don't have a welder anymore. But I bird shitted a weld on the Torx head to that, and with the heat, because I had a little propane torch on these at the same time, with the heat and the welding heat and all that, they were all broke loose. And yeah, they had orange permanent Loctite on all 5 of those, and they are tough. But if you get them the first time and you lay into them with all the weight you got, you'll get them. But if you go at them half-assed the first time, you're gonna screw up, I promise you. So I got it out, as you saw. Now I'm taking the brake line off. It's just gonna make it a whole much easier. I got some soft jaw vise next to me over here. I'm gonna use and set the whole thing in there. Anybody doesn't know, before you start taking brake lines apart, if you're going to put these banjo bolts, and everything takes off. This is a banjo bolt. It's got a hole in it. It's got another hole in it up here. Banjo bolts have to have crush washers every single time, brand new ones. Can't reuse this washer on here. It'll leak. Here's the other one. So, on we go.
Open the door, but shut the screen. Open the door, but shut the screen. Open the door, but shut the screen. It's too dang hot, and them bugs are too dang mean.
had this off. I know I'm on my third or fourth set of pads on this, so I've had it off at least 3 or 4 times. Then tire changes because the tires wore out. You got to take it off every time you replace the tire. So I'm guessing I've had this caliper off 10 times, and this time it gave me trouble, and that's surprising. But like I said before, also this piece is the piece that locks the caliper onto the axle, is aluminum, and steel and aluminum don't work, and all the engineers know it and everything, but they keep doing it because aluminum's lightweight and it's easy to work with and a little bit cheaper than steel. So that's how come that works that way. Now I got to find some square-headed. I'm going to put square-headed bolts back on there so I don't have to wrestle around with this again. Some of you may comment I was using the Torx on the impact gun, and I did, and that's kind of dangerous because you're going to strip out the head, and it did. Also noting it stripped out my Torx sockets, so I got to grind them down, so I got a fresh cut on those again whenever that time comes. But for now, I'm just going to put some square-headed bolts in there, and more than likely, only people are going to know about it, the people that watch this video, that I got square-headed bolts down there, because it's not a part that a lot of people look at. And this one came out nice. Now, if I was really picky about keeping my bike bone stock, I'd probably order some button heads from Mike Seastrom at ehparts.net, and I'd be fine, but I don't want to wait for the delivery, and shipping on bolts is just going to be nuts. I could go to Lincoln, which is 20 miles away. I don't live in Lincoln. And gone to a fastener place and probably got some button head bolts. But for me, button head bolts are a pain in the butt. I know a lot of guys, probably knowing my luck, don't have any problem with button head bolts. And that's okay too, but I do. I don't like them. They're attractive, but they need to be in places that don't need Loctite and easy access in my book, but that's just me. I got the tire back in here and it's in the way a little bit, but I want to show you something. You need to see this. See this here piece? This is that piece that brake bracket has to slide on back and forth. So that's why it's so critical. Not critical, but that's important on a reassembly here, that to get this all right and it'll go easier for you. But it's on the left side. And this piece here is what slides on it. So the axle goes through here, and then your caliper attaches on these 2 bolt holes back here. Alrighty, so this is the order. If you're really smart, I'm not real smart, you'd take this off and immediately put it back together, or you'd look at your shop manual blow-up pictures like I do. I try to keep everything in order and put them on the axle so I know what's going on, but I notoriously forget and take it apart, and for whatever reasons. So we got these 2 spacers, one here and one here, that go into the hub itself. Then both of these, so like I said, this is the order. This is your adjusting collar for the adjusting bolt. Way over here. There's one on each side. Right over there. And that notch is where the bolts go in to adjust. This is your brake bracket. It's got the slot, and it's got to fit that slot inside of the swing arm. Both of these, this is the spacer on the right side, this is the spacer on the left side. Both of these go into inside the axle against pretty close to the bearing. It's not on the bearing. And then again, you got another adjusting collar. In my making of this video, I'm trying to keep everything nice and short. I get long-winded. For some reason, these get long-winded. Anyway, so I'm going to try to show everything as I do it. It's going to be problemsome, and I'll try to explain what I got going. So this is the spacer on this side. I got room to get it in there. And there she is. And it sits right in here. And this is where the axle is going to come through, is this piece just beyond the belt. I keep the belt out of the way so I don't have to fight it, because the other side is the side that can be challenging. So, as you can see, I got some space. I need to bring up the whole wheel just a little bit and then move it over. You can see the space. And move the whole wheel and tire over just a little bit so it's leaning up against this and give me room on the other side. All right, you can see it. I got my spacer up against that piece right there. That's perfect. It's tipped a little bit, so I need to go just a hair higher because it's not matching this hole over here. Next, I'll stick the spacer in, and that's always a headache because it falls out. This guy, I got to get onto that piece. If you remember, the chunk of steel hanging out of the side of the frame there. And now I can stick it in here and hopefully roll it all into one. And there I got it. It's pretty, I was prepping you guys for a lot of issues and headache. It's really not that hard if you can get the order right and kind of do it the way I'm doing. I'm not saying my rate's the way to do it or the wrong way to do it. But now they're all getting ready to line up with this hole for the bolt, the axle. And this side's ready for it. And it's still tipped a little bit, and that's okay. So I'm going to go ahead and start my bolt, my axle bolt in. Slide it back a little bit. Whoa, too far. There we go. And you can see it doesn't quite match yet. And that's pretty darn close to perfect. And it was. Inside I got to fish through 3 bearings. I've had the update on my axle, so there's 3 bearings in there. And the other side is still good. This is where I usually take a soft blow hammer and just start tapping on it lightly. You don't want to take out those bearings, especially the races that are against the axle itself. If I can find my soft blow hammer, there it is. Tapping and twisting and fooling around. Got by 1. Got by 2, 3, 4. Stopped. And it's because if you can see it, I'm too high on this side because it was tipped a little bit. Remember me talking about that? Let her down a hair. That looks perfect. I'm trying to slide ahead a little bit. It's just missing. And the axle bolt is in. See? And it all lined up perfect.